This is what justifies that it's marked, and it's the hammer that justifies the mark. So they could calculate if it was cut more or less. This is the mirror that, when you go from one tree to another, this indicates the one that's marked. The axe or hatchet must be well sharpened, and the skilled woodcutters of La Spugna were acquainted with this task, which was done before any wood-cutting job. I have to test it. How? By cutting these hairs. I'm going to show you right away. Look. Do you see those hairs? There they are. Look how many there are. Well, first, we have to clean, and now we'll verify the fall, which will be visible right away. You have to look at the tree, and you'll notice by looking at the crown where it'll fall. By using the axe and being well coordinated in their strikes, the veteran woodcutters carve the wedges that will direct the fall of the tree towards the place they want to be able to drag it with the draft animals. Until it falls, the fall is coming. The direction of the cuts is essential to guide the fall of the tree. Look how it's moving! It's already moving! Did you see it? It's been automatic. Pine is down and peeled. That was the job. The bark adheres to the trunk and it peels worse. And it's important to peel it right afterwards. If it doesn't bleed, the wood doesn't dry well. I have to chop off some wood, not just the bark, to drain the sap. Like this. That's it. And that way, all the resin comes out through there. We take off the bark so that the wood dries well. This was usually left to distill until it dried, until it was time to take it out of the forest. If the wood was drained, it weighed half of what it should have weighed. In order to be able to flip the tree, it's necessary to cut the top or crown, but leaving a small piece of connection, the twister, which allows the trunk to turn while being held by the weight of the crown. It's done. If it was very steep, the twister was left. This was done depending on what you wanted to do. If you cut off the whole crown, there was no control. And with the twister, we'd flip it, and it would stay still there. The crown would hold it. Now, will it hide? A bit more. Okay. The twister is this. What comes out from here and is connected to this in the crown of the pine. So, if I cut it, the log will roll too much. I'll cut it when it's convenient. Not now, because we have to make this cut. I won't cut it until the last moment. It's very important to peel the trunk well, as the loggers say. The wood would turn blue and could get damaged. Now I'm going to cut the twister to flip the log and get it ready. It's done. Then make a hole to pass the chain through and the males that hook it and take the log away, mostly at the front, which is always easier to steer. When cutting the bore holes, they were given a complete turn. Besides the axe, the bore hole has been another of the essential tools for cutting and transporting wood in the forest. Once the trunk is peeled, its length and thickness can be measured to calculate the volume of wood. That is, to determine its cubic capacity. You start measuring from here. Yes, right where the mark is, it was measured. That's it. Measure it. To charge for what? What it's worth. What it's worth, what we've agreed upon. Estimating the center of the trunk, Luis left a bark as a mark. The center is there. It can vary by 20 centimeters forward or backward. So, not to waste too much time, when I get there, I go straight to grab the center. 10, 20. Well, then it will be 5, 10 here. The center, you take the circumference to measure its volume, to know its capacity. 70. 510 by 70. Now we'll measure it in the book and charge what is due. What we've agreed upon, 510 by 70. This means that we've done the work that needed to be done and will charge for the volume of the wood. 510 by 70. This is a chapi, and it has a groove here with 2 flaps which grip the wood. When you hit the wood, even if you pull, it won't come loose. But well, this is so the wood can grip, because this is to remove the wood from the forest in places, like slopes, where the males can't enter or such. With this, it's sent to the hitching site. So now, we need to put a cable to be able to hook it and do with the wrist what needs to be done to advance the log. Managed like a lever, with a twist of the wrists and skillfully, the chapi or zapinha allowed lifting, hooking, and slowly moving the heavy trunk to a point where it could be thrown down a ravine or onto a wood slide. You have to drive it like this so that the tip goes in that way and holds. Now pull here. Let's see if you can pull it out. The chapi was thrown like this. Now pull it here. Let's see if you can pull it out. And with a pull and forward wood, it was driven in like this and pulled, that on a slope. And here, the logs were already jumping downhill. In a place like this, no. Unless it's to send it outward or something. Because you hardly use it, since you always straighten it to decide to send it, like right now. If it's up here, for example, where the horses couldn't go, you'd grab the wood and send it to be hitched to the horses. Now. Okay, let's see, Luis. Hook it up and pull from there. 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 It's moving. Move it. Well, now we're going to put the harness on the animal. We tie the strap here and fasten the yokes, tighten them a bit, and the harness is now put on. Now we'll put on the headpiece with the blinders. Stay. Easy, girl. The ears, let her breathe. Now the backstrap or camatrillo is placed with the chains attached. Now it's hooked here, pulled over the animal, a bit hooked here on the yoke so it won't buck and won't get tangled, and off to work to fetch the timber. Come on, noble one. To extract the timber from the forest, Jose Antonio has brought a horse to drag it to a loading point. Now the horse is nose to the tip. The horse is nose to the tip of the timber, and then it's made to turn so that the rear end is ready with the backstrap to be hooked. The timber is hooked to the backstrap using a chain secured with a pin to prevent it from coming loose. The horse has been used to drag the timber to the place where it was to be processed, if nearby, or to a river where it could be transported by the force of the water current. In this case, the timber will be left accessible at a point where it can be picked up with a vehicle and taken to the place of use.